Hello, today and continuing with my series of big interviews, I'm with the one and only Willis.
Hello.
Hello, Ali.
Thank you for having me, Julian.
Now, Ali, you've got quite a mouthful of a title these days. It's CEO of Easyfairs UK and Global.
Correct. CEO of Easyfairs UK and Global,
Okay.
and also current chair of the AEO.
And current chair of the AEO, and we're going to talk about both of those things and your rise to fame and your feelings about the industry at large, the role at the AEO, lots of things to talk about. So,
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
pleasure. So let's start. How did you get into events?
Well, it's funny that you should ask me that question because actually I talk about this quite a lot. And it's also part of the backbone of one of our campaigns at the AEO, which is the choose events, because there aren't many people in our industry that actually went out and chose events. So I worked at a publishing company called Centaur, which I believe still exists. And I was running one of their titles. So when I say running, I was on the commercial side of one of their titles, New Media Age, cocky and young, and thought to myself, I can launch a show. My advertisers will be my exhibitors, and my visitors are, of course, my readership. So I thought if I bring them together in one place, then I have a show. So we launched the New Media Show, and we did it without that much expertise. So we found our way, and we launched it at the Business Design Centre. We had 100 exhibitors who were my advertisers, and we brought in about 3,000 visitors who were my readers. And we smashed it. And the feeling of coming and creating that event was so addictive. And I remember walking around that show at the Business Design Centre, knowing every single exhibitor and actually a lot of the visitors as well, and bringing that community together in a real sense of pride that we'd achieved that. And that show evolved and became Marketing Week Live many years later. So it existed for quite a long time. And then I fell into the event industry and haven't really looked back.
And in a glittering career, you also, of course, ran Confex.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that experience. Because that is, I mean, yeah, am I allowed to say that? That's a tough show.
It's a tough show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it so tough?
Yeah, so I'd been at UBM, so I stayed after Centaur, I moved to UBM, and I stayed at United Business Media, of course now Informa, for over 10 years. First launching technology for marketing with Simon Mills, actually, funnily enough, who was in marketing then, and I was sales, so I very much came from the commercial background, and then Call Centre Expo. And then Duncan Reed moved on to Confex, and I think he took over from Jessica Blue, I believe. So like you say, we've all had a turn. And Duncan was event director and he was looking for a commercial director. So he came to me and sold me the dream of running an event for your own industry. So running an event for the event industry. And he sold the dream so well. And then, yeah, it was tough. It was tough because, of course, we are our biggest critics as well in terms of how the event, the look and feel. We're quite a tough audience to bring to an event because we're running our own events. So there is that kind of challenge as well. And you do feel that you are being judged on the event constantly. So it was tough. And back then we used to deal with a lot of destinations as well. And that was also quite tricky, dealing with all the different destinations, cultures, and ensuring that they exhibited in the right way and got the most out of the show. So it was definitely tough, but very rewarding.
Very.
And that's how I was first introduced to yourself, M.I.C.E Media, AEO as well, and the kind of industry networks with all the suppliers. That's how you kind of grow up in the industry, I think, as well.
And now, do you think, obviously, you found quite a home at Easyfairs?
Yes.
And you now reached a lofty position where you're near God. So
Don't go that far.
tell us about that experience, because obviously Easyfairs go about things in a slightly different fashion, which is, I think, very good for the industry and perhaps the way we should all go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'd always admired Easyfairs. And that's one of the great things about our industry is that we do know the other organisers and we look to them and we learn best practice. We visit lots of shows, and Easyfairs was a company that I'd always admired and looked at that all-in model and that kind of easyfying the community's experience, both the visitor and the exhibitor. And they always seemed to be one step ahead when it came to the technology, like the smart badge technology, etc. So I'd always admired them. At that point, I was at Hive, so I moved from UBM to Hive. Had a great few years at Hive, and then I had a conversation with Matt. And like this industry is, our network, And they were doing some really exciting things at this point. They were launching, they were acquiring. And Matt said, I think that it's a good time to join the business. And that was nearly 9 years ago.
See, was it?
It was.
Does the events industry actually lend itself to working mothers, or do you think it's complete opposite of that?
I think it's much better now. And it's certainly something that I've been supporting through my time at every organiser that I've been in, but also being a mentor for women in exhibitions, being involved with the AEO. It's something that I talk about a lot on stage as well. People always ask me to talk about that balance. How do you juggle? And it is really challenging with events because we're at an event now. It's consuming. You're here for like 3-4 days. You travel, and when you're on site, you're on site. Multitasking is near on impossible. So it's very difficult from that perspective. But
And when you finish, you're absolutely
when do you finish? Exactly. Yeah. So really hard. But companies like Easyfairs really supportive in terms of that flexible working, even before COVID. But COVID, I have to say, has helped us in that way as well, in terms of allowing us to be more flexible with the way that we work. We're all set up to work from home, which really helps with the school drop-offs and pickups. And those not busy times of the year, if you do have a break in between shows, that's the time to utilise that flexibility as well to ensure that you're around and you don't get that parent guilt, which I was terrible. I always had parent guilt. So I always felt like I wasn't giving enough to the children or enough to work. So you're stuck in the middle. But actually, there is a way for you to find that balance. And that's very much around the flexibility, the support from your boss, the support from your mentors, and also your peers. So one thing about our industry, which I love, is the peer network that we create. And it's not necessarily people you work with directly. It could be people that you used to work with. And they support you through those challenges as well and give you that sort of best practice advice and support and also encouragement. You're being a great example for your 2 girls. I have 2 girls. A great example to demonstrate to them
As a mum,
that I can be around.
changing the nature of the industry. There's been quite a lot of talk on some of the entrepreneur groups also about the thorny subject of sexual pests in the event industry. And again, as a young woman coming through the industry, and I think we've changed a bit, but a lot of booze flows around, a lot of after hours socialising, and things get out of hand.
Yeah.
And have you experienced that?
Yeah, I've experienced it. I wouldn't say it's been excessive, but I've definitely had a situation that I felt uncomfortable, but no more than I would have done if I was in the pub drinking, in a situation. So,
Label or
I wouldn't label our industry in that way personally, in my experience. I've definitely had situations, but like I say, no different than I would experience if I was out in a pub or a club. And I've definitely had to be assertive, but also had the confidence to be assertive and to say, actually, no, this isn't appropriate or, but again, no more than I would if I was out on a night out, just saying no, just being like, no, actually, I'm not interested. But no more than I would say.
okay, let's see. We're going to roll in women in exhibitions then. I mean, we're trying to make the industry as attractive as we can to all sexes, but also the opportunities to all sexes. So what are we doing there to change things? Is there have we done anything to actually change it?
I think so. I think everything we've just talked about, definitely. It's an education piece on how, you can, as a woman, be in those positions of authority. And as I say, juggle that work-life balance. So I think Women in Exhibitions are great, and I work with them on the mentor scheme. I don't sit on that board because it's difficult to juggle everything still. But I definitely support Women in Exhibitions, and I think they've been a great platform for women in our industry to get over some of the confidence issues they might have had rising through the ranks. And also, as I say, that work-life balance. Whenever, I know I keep talking about it, but that's because whenever I become a mentor for a new mentee, that's top of their list. It's how do I achieve that work-life balance? How do I feel less guilt in both areas of my life? And then the second thing that I do quite a lot of mentoring on is confidence. How do I sit around that board table? How do I find my voice? So there's still a lack of confidence, I would say, as well, probably because I might feel a bit outnumbered and might not have that level of experience, but don't have that kind of nature of confidence. We need to bring that out in women, which I do a lot of mentoring on as well.
Okay, but you're CEO of a huge organisation that's forever blossoming and growing. you're a woman in exhibitions, you're a mentor, you're a mother of two, and you decided to become chair of the AEO. So when you say about work-life balance, before we come onto that, what is your formula for that, for work-life balance? What is that?
I think I touched on it earlier. It's to do with ensuring that you're flexible at the right times that you can. So when I go home, I have mechanisms of ensuring that I leave work in my laptop. Try not to look at my emails too much and get distracted, because it's very easy to pick up your phone and look at your emails constantly. So we have just simple things like dinner time, we sit around the table and no phones. And that's for the kids as well as the parents, because everyone's drawn to that constant need to keep in touch. You know, your phone dings and you just want to know, is it an email? Is it LinkedIn? Is it important or not? But everything can wait. And I think it's just having the discipline to put your phone down for an hour or two and just be present. Be present with your family, be present with your kids, and to utilize the time outside of event time. When you're not at an actual event, when you're not in that really crucial build-up time, take some time back. And we're really good at Easyfairs with this as well. You know, you work your days in lieu. It's like, have a day off, like go and spend it with your kids, and really utilize the time that you're not at an event or in that really manic build-up, which is constant. It feels, but there is always that time to find.
So what are you bringing to that role? What are your visions? Tell us.
Well, initially it's difficult because Matt had done the role for so long, and was so well respected, well liked and well known. So it was difficult, definitely, and it's still challenging now. But what I think I bring is that fresh perspective. One thing in terms of leadership that I've always been really passionate about is that it's very collaborative within my leadership team, but also within the wider teams. So everybody has a voice. We actually have an Easy Voice, we call it, which is a committee. There's lots of different initiatives like this that we bring to Easyfairs, but Easy Voice is one example where we bring together lots of different representations across the business, and they sit together once a month and just talk about any challenges that they have, how we can support those challenges, what we're doing well as a business, what we could do better. So the culture and workplace piece is huge for me. So I'm always checking back to ensure, you know, are the teams happy? Is their workload too much? If it is, how can we support that? Are people happy? Do we need to, you know, do something culturally to engage and motivate our workforce? Because people and talent to me is so important.
How do you know if people aren't happy?
Well,
It's difficult.
it is difficult, but being close to your teams, whether that's through my direct reports or just being at a show like I am today and just touching base with people and asking the right questions about their challenges. What's going well? What do you think could be going better? What's keeping you awake at night? Asking the questions. But also, as Easyfairs, we have lots of mechanisms to ensure that we've got those touch points as well. Easy Voice is one.
So what's Easy Voice?
Which is a committee. So it's a committee that rotates every 6 months of different people across the business, different job functions, different levels, getting together with HR, a head of talent, Richard, running the group. And again, just talking about Easyfairs. What do you like? What we're doing well? What could we do better? What's happened in your teams the last month or two? What are you hearing? And just giving everyone a voice in terms of how we can improve our company and culture.
We seem happy, and it seems to have in place for all your staff that I see around the place, our various and things that we do.
Yes.
So when's it not been easy in your career? At what point, you must be at a low point?
Yeah, funnily enough, it was linked to the family situation, and it was when I was wanting to have a second child, and I was in probably a bit of a stressful place at that point. And I actually did leave the industry for a short amount of time because I basically wasn't falling pregnant, whereas the first time was relatively easy without going into too much detail. And I feel it was the stress. I feel at that point I was in a bit of a stressful point in my career. Actually, I had a bit of time off, pregnancy, all not working, but I found myself just really missing events and really missing my community. Like, we talk about communities and the ones that we build in our industries, like this one being at a packaging show, but the community, my network, my industry, and I really missed it. And I was never retiring. I was just taking some time off. So I would have maternity sort of the freedom of not being consumed throughout my maternity. But actually, I just found myself really missing it, and I couldn't wait to get back.
Lovely.
Yeah. So I had my second child and then ran back to work.
So let's talk about communities. How do you go about building them at Easyfairs? We all have our different techniques. I mean, obviously, it's discussed a lot
Yes.
through EN and all our channels and that.
Yes.
But wait, are there specifics that we must do the A, B, C, D?
Yeah, I don't think there's a particular formula because I think every industry is different and every community is different.
Yeah.
So how you tap into that really comes from the experts that are within that community. So one thing we're very good at, and Josh Brooks, who is co-divisional director on this event with Jen, he came from a publishing background and he was at Packaging News. So he's got that real expertise around this industry and really passionate about the industry. So I think that's definitely one of the keys. Surround yourself with experts, whether that's your advisory panel that you make up of speakers, visitors, exhibitors, influencers. Just surround yourself with that expertise and they will help you shape what your community expects from your event, how you develop that, because it changes every year. You know, there's new innovation that you need to bring in every year, and you can only do that through being close. And we as event professionals could only be so close to our industries. We can be super close with our networking and our knowledge, but really we need to build on that with the real expertise, which is people that sit within the industry, and they're usually our advisory panels, friends and family network, we like to call it Easyfairs.
Right, nice.
Being close to them and just really understanding how that community is evolving and what they need from their platform, which is what we provide. And not just the 2 days of the event, of course, but throughout the year as well.
Well, going back to your point of how you got into exhibitions and that 365, that's natural when you ran a magazine, right? So you've got that contact
Yes.
all the way through, and obviously myself the same with MASH. And so it's quite interesting that the whole industry woke up to 365 not that long ago, eh?
I agree, yeah. Probably around COVID, when we had no choice.
Yes. So, do you feel like you always want to attach a media presence to every show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't, because we don't have many publications in terms of traditional magazines, but definitely the platforms around that. So everything from our websites being relevant all year with industry news and ensuring that there's fresh content on there. And then we're really good at podcasts, for instance. We actually have a studio in Twickenham.
Yeah.
We could have been there, actually. It might have been quieter. We have a studio.
I'm busy show.
Exactly.
So we should mention where we are. Have we mentioned where we are?
London Packaging Week. I think so.
Did we say that?
Yeah, we're at London Packaging Week. Excel. 2-day show. Incredible.
What do you call yourselves? Do you call yourselves community owners? Do you call yourselves media? Do you call yourself exhibition organisers?
Yeah, I think, again, that depends on which community you're talking to, because I think every community is different. So if you look at some like to call an exhibition a meeting, because that's what their industry recognises, and it's all about the education and it's about bringing them together. So it depends, again, on the community. We still call ourselves event organisers, but that's probably a bit outdated, really, because we do much more than that.
Yeah. So let's talk about your role at the AEO, which you, when did you take that on? That was a couple.
I took that on in September.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I did, it was at the AGM, and I took over from Rachel Swan. And the first privilege that I had was to host the conference.
I heard interesting things. I think it's a really difficult conference to run. I'll come back to that in a second. But what's the AEO actually do?
So the AEO, we are the Association for Event Organisers, and it's been a not-for-profit association for over 100 years. So you've got that real legacy there. And we have several touch points, some of which are the events. So we have the awards, obviously, which are not at all competing with your awards, because there's definitely a space in our industry for two. But, you know, really celebrating success within the industry. We're also that touch point in terms of government, so trying to raise the profile and the economic impact that we have for the UK. So really trying to raise our profile within and get some more support from our government. So of course, the association really geared towards that. We're a platform for our talent as well. So we have a talent hub where we advertise jobs and ensure that if you're, you know, just starting out in your career, you've just done an event management degree, AEO should be the portal that you kind of come to understand what a career in exhibitions and events looks like. Through the AEO, interestingly, I actually helped rewrite a BTEC course in event management to ensure that they were covering exhibitions, so that educational piece from a degree and a BTEC level, the awareness, really encouraging that awareness of exhibitions as a platform, because lots of students I found were coming to us from organisations like the Event Academy, not knowing about the exhibition side of events. And so really raising the profile of that. And as I say, I actually helped write a BTEC course around ensuring that exhibitions are prominent throughout that course. So raising awareness of our industry, whether that's through the government, whether that's through talent, whether that's through making those connections, and the 4 events that we run, which are the awards, the conference, which is education. And then we've also got the forums, and we've also got the People's Awards now as well. So it's touch point, it's connections for the industry, but it's also raising our profile together, giving us that platform and voice.
Okay, so going back to that point about the education, because I think that is so key. And like years ago, I went out on the circuit of event management courses, just of my own volition, because the AEO wasn't doing that. I mean, this is a long time ago. But I really think that's something we should be doing more of, because I found what you've just said there is that they don't know cool exhibitions are. And these were third year management students, and it's like, I don't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, they think about weddings and they think about festivals.
So we've got to get that into the curriculum. How can the AEO, maybe with MASH, do more of that? You're doing something here with choose events?
Choose events, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me exactly what that is.
So something I'm really passionate about is attracting new talent to our industry and ensuring that we're raising the profile of our industry, whether that's through understanding the economic impact, or whether that's the talent within those, like you say, those university courses and those graduate courses, where people are, like I say, the Event Academy is a great example of that. They're actually studying the events world, but there was nothing in the curriculum that covered exhibitions. And I found that absolutely shocking, particularly as the Event Academy are based at the Business Design Centre. So therefore, they should be exposed to the exhibitions and seeing how great the communities that we bring together are. So I do think that there's still a lot of work to be done on that. Choose Events is a campaign that we launched probably about, I want to say 6 months ago, but there's a lot more that we can do. So all of the resources there, but I think there's more that we can do to raise that profile. So one of the projects we did, it's a simple video that talks about what events are, what exhibitions are, the different disciplines within that. So you can rise up through sales, marketing, ops, finance, community, content, really ensuring that educational resource is there. But then how do we raise the profile of that resource? So the first thing that we did is we did a PPC digital campaign. We tagged digital to bring more traffic to the AEO website so that we could ensure that people that weren't aware of our industry found our industry. But that's an ongoing piece. We need the content to be able, it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation again, isn't it? We need the content to bring, and we need the jobs on the website to bring the candidates there. So I think there's a lot more we can do. And I think there's more we can do with the actual courses as well, as I said about the...
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing that we keep talking about internally in MASH as well. Maybe we should talk to the AEO about it, about how we attack that, because there's not enough on the curriculum. It's obvious. And maybe getting the course leaders together. There's something that we...
100%. And considering there are event management courses and people graduate not knowing anything about the exhibition industry.
It was crazy. And then,
It's crazy.
So, Max has the idea for the graduate campaign as well. We should talk about that more.
Yes, love to. And I know you did a great event as well, didn't you? Which was a graduate event.
Yeah. So we try these all the time.
I think it's really important. And I think there are things like graduate fairs that we can have a bit more of a presence at.
Absolutely.
Just to really heighten our profile. But if we heighten our profile generally, then people are, everyone's going to become more
aware that way.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me a bit more about, I mean, obviously the AEO has always had these relationships. Got the AEV, they have SR.
Yes.
It's always been that, some people call it uneasy bed partners. Some people think it the industry alliance, etc., etc.
Yes.
They're all rising question exhibitions.
Yeah.
How do you protect organisers' interest, but at the same time keeping everybody happy? What's the chat there?
Yeah, I think it's those different groups that you mentioned come together to form the EIA, the Event Industry Alliance. And I think that platform is essential to bring the groups together. So we sit with the venues, we talk about the challenges that organisers are facing, And we have great relationships with the venues. And a lot of the venues now have talent within their teams that have come from the organiser background. So I find that's getting easier as well because they understand our challenges, exactly. So I think that's getting a lot easier. And actually Anna Golden, who is now our CEO, the AEO, coming from a venue background, I think is also priceless and she adds a lot of value to the association and also helps close that loop when it comes to our challenges. Exactly.
I think that's a really good point about venues. Or not all venues, but a lot of venues now have employed people who are ex-organisers. This one, for example, you know, they're all organisers. So
and they're really interested. So Simon Mills came in our show today, walked around with me, asked what my challenges were, and is always there to support and understands it from our side. And is really proactive. Exactly. Dan at SCCC. Yeah, no, it's really important. Yeah.
And talking of which, you've named quite a few there. They're all involved in One Day at Christmas. And you were one of the staff's sponsor drivers, were you not?
I still am.
Were you some of them all? I can't remember.
I'm still there.
Are you still there?
I'm still there. I love One Day at Christmas.
Tell me a little bit why you love that and why it's so important for the events industry to get behind it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I think for the first, but when did it launch? When was the first One Day at Christmas? I don't think it was 2015 I came to my first one. It was definitely the NEC.
The first one was here, then we went up to the M.I.C.E. I think that
was that one, second one. And I remember coming with Ali Church and walking and not having any idea what to expect. I had no idea what to expect, literally none. And when I walked in, I was blown away by giving back to that community. And I sat on a table, so I did work as well. So it helped with the supporting, bringing the lunch out, supporting all of that element. But then I sat on a table, and it was actually quite an emotional experience because for some people around that table, lonely, vulnerable, elderly, this was the highlight of their year, not just the festive season. And I sat on this table, and they were so happy, and they were so excited to talk to me as well, like somebody different. And they were having the time of their life. They were dancing, singing, eating, drinking, and just really enjoying that moment. And for us to give back as a community, because we're able to, because we've got the venues, we've got the support, we've got now the contact, thanks to you guys, with those communities, to give back just felt really special. And I absolutely loved it. And I was running around, actually, because there was someone on my table just wanted a particular drink that we didn't have. I can't even remember. It might have been Prosecco, say. And I was literally... Or
sherry.
Maybe it was sherry. It could have been sherry. It might have been. And I remember running around determined to find the sherry because I wanted to make her experience so memorable and make her happy. And they are so happy. And it's such a great event.
Okay, so we've got a very full line, incredibly full life, haven't we? So mentor, as you said, women in exhibitions. Actually, we didn't touch on that too much. What are the plans of the women in exhibitions? What are the targets? I found it frustrating when I was on women in exhibitions forward that I couldn't get anybody to agree to some targets.
So I'm not on the board, so I can't help you in that, I'm afraid.
Okay.
To be completely honest, I could make them up and sound just top. Yeah, I think there should be. I know they put a lot of emphasis. I know Caroline is now also working in it, also works at SL. She will be a really great chair of women in exhibitions, so I know that she will definitely set targets, and I'm sure she already has. But my involvement with them is more on the mental side and also support their conference.
But getting more women CEOs, and that's a great thing. Yeah. If you had targets and knew what the landscape was and how to get more, that'd be a good thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, I totally support that.
Morning. So I mean, you're an inspiration, to not just women, but to everybody in the industry. Like I said, you're a mentor, involved with women in exhibitions. You are our star sponsorship driver for One Day at Christmas.
Just I'm very competitive as well.
I know you are. I don't believe that. I see that.
We have to bring in the most amount of sponsorship.
And you have to be the winner. You have to be in charge. You're the chair of the AEO. You are a mother of two. You are the CEO of a huge exhibition organizer or community owner, etc. What else can you fit in?
The days that I go to the gym, I'm more effective, I'm more alert, I'm more agile, everything. And that's time for me. So you always have to find that time for you as well, which I think is really important. In terms of next steps, I just want to keep supporting the industry, like the wider industry. So obviously, I want to ensure that Easyfairs keeps growing and that our the people we work with, the talent, are happy, and that's number one priority for me. But also supporting the wider industry, whether that's the One Day at Christmas or other charitable organisations, but an AEO, just ensuring raising the profile of the industry, because I'm so passionate about it. So whatever comes next, it needs to be supportive of that mission, really, which is to support the wider industry and, of course, ensure that Easyfairs keeps growing.
Yeah, and I think you'll get both.
Ali Willis, superwoman, complete inspiration to everybody. What a pleasure that's been.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
What a pleasure. Thank you.